Welcome to Bits and Bobs, a virtual training collection by Kaleidoscope Youth Center. In this series, we dive headfirst into identities that don't get their fair share of the limelight. Hi there, my name's Lane and my pronouns are they, them. We have to walk before we run, so we're digging into some foundational concepts in this video. This is going to be a sticky one. Let's talk about the word queer. Merriam-Webster defines queer as differing in some way from what is usual or normal, as in odd, strange, weird, eccentric, or unconventional. This seems kind of old-timey.
How queer it seems, Alice said to herself, to be going messages for a rabbit. Lewis Carroll.
Since the 16th century, the word queer has been used to describe things that are different from the norm. Today, queer is an umbrella term for both gender identities and sexualities. It can mean anything other than cisgender or straight. Unlike other identity labels, using the term queer doesn't tell anyone any details about someone's gender identity or their sexuality. It just tells them that they exist outside of the societal expectation of cisgender or heterosexual. In this way, it gives queer folks the freedom to define themselves in different ways depending on who they're talking to, what the trust level might be, or what setting they're in. Young people might use the term queer, especially if their identity is fluid or shifting, so that they don't have to repeatedly come out as a new identity all of the time. They can save those deep conversations for the people they're close with, that are privy to that information, and just use queer for everyone else. So in this way, queer can also be an additional label for folks who already use more specific labels, like non-binary and asexual, for example. So it's still that sort of old-timey definition of different. Queer also invokes political meanings, including bucking the norm or breaking down the status quo. A lot of queer folks use the term queer because it makes them feel empowered to be themselves, regardless of what society expects of them. All that said, queer is a reclaimed term, which means that throughout recent history it's been used as a slur. In the late 20th century, those within the community used the word queer to be deliberately provocative and celebrate being politically radical. Writing in Queers Read This, an anonymous leaflet distributed at the New York Pride March in 1990 reads,
"Being queer means leading a different sort of life. It's not about the mainstream, profit margins, patriotism, patriarchy, or being assimilated. It's not about executive directors, privilege, and elitism. It's about being on the margins, defining ourselves. What's beneath the belt and deep inside the heart. It's about the night."
The first known use of queer theory was in 1988 and is an approach to literary and cultural study that rejects traditional categories of gender and sexuality. Toward the end of the 20th century, activists and community groups were working to reclaim the word queer, and the word started appearing more often in popular culture. Queer as Folk aired on mainstream British television in 1999, and Queer Eye for the Straight Guy aired in the US starting in 2003. Brought back as Queer Eye on Netflix in 2018. This type of language use in the mainstream media and pop culture has furthered the term's reclamation as a positive word, divorcing it from its previous pejorative use. Reclaimed terms do continue to be controversial for a while. It's not an overnight switch. For some terms, even some reclaimed usage is controversial, perhaps allowed by folks within a particular demographic, but not okay for other people to use. For several years now, many young people, including those who participate in Kaleidoscope Youth Center programming, use the term queer to self-identify. Because of its rocky history, the term queer still causes discomfort. And if you do not identify as queer, you should be careful using the term to describe someone else.
It could be a home, it could be a comfort, it could be an identity.
I feel like it depends and varies on the person, but for me personally, I definitely feel like it's a home, a community, a safe space where you don't gotta worry about judgment or hateful comments.
Black queer feminist scholar and poet Alexis Pauline Gumbs says,
"Our definition of queer is that which fundamentally transforms our state of being and the possibilities for life. That which is queer is what does not reproduce the status quo."
At Kaleidoscope Youth Center and outside of it, we get to create a world that goes against the status quo. We get to imagine new possibilities, a queer world where everyone has the freedom to be odd, strange, different, eccentric, or unconventional. If you found this mini course helpful, check out some of our others on topics like sexual identity, asexuality, or intersex. Or invite KYC out to facilitate a live training. And visit our website to learn more about our programs. Visit kycohio.org/donate to make a one-time donation. Or join our Unity Circle. Your contributions will help KYC continue to serve LGBTQIA+ young people in our community. That's all for now.